Good night about those. Thanks again for tuning in to yet another video of Memphis coming at you live from the West Coast yet again. Sounds like California. So we're doing a voiceover in this one. I was about to edit this motovlog and I was just rambling way too much. So let's just cut to the chase. What is this video about? I've been getting asked a lot about why did I go with the Dominator fairing, and I don't script a lot of the videos, so I tend to forget about things. So I'm gonna try to get everything that I like about it in this video. So of course, Dominator is a company outside of the United States, and they make their fairings in the Netherlands. So you're probably wondering, why do that? So some of the pros of getting it from Dominator, of course, is the quality of the fiberglass. You also get a mixture of carbon fiber and fiberglass, which is really neat. Of course, you get some benefits of the carbon fiber, as far as it being sturdy, not being as fragile as fiberglass, and you get a little bit of benefits of where the carbon fiber is placed. It's placed at the edge, the outer edge of the fairing and the lowers, so that's typically the weak point of the fairing. And then of course you also have it at the headlight, so you also have carbon fiber at the headlight where the bracket and the light kind of meets with the fairing. So where it matters, you have carbon fiber, and it should last you a little bit longer than just a plain Jane fiberglass. So, and like I mentioned, the fiberglass itself, it's not a mesh, it's a cloth. So it's as far as strength, it's basically the best available fiberglass out there. And like I mentioned, you get some additional strength, and you're not breaking the bank, because the carbon fiber option will cost you twice as much as a fiberglass piece. So that's one of the main reasons why I went with it. Another reason why I went with Dominator was because of the windshield. I didn't want that plain Jane windshield, the one that you could get from RWD, or the one that you could get from basically any other manufacturer. Even the eBay China one, I wasn't too fond of the way it looked. And looking at those options, and then looking at Clockworks, I was leaning towards Clockworks windshield up until I came across the Dominator fairing. And then in that point, I decided, you know what? I get a better quality fairing, and I get a little bit of a carbon fiber mixture in the build. And on top of that, I also get, in my opinion, a better looking windshield from Dominator, because it has that neat little cutout. And then on top of that, you don't have to relocate your turn signals depending on how tall or how short your handlebars are. Because of course, when they're turned, when you have the bike parked, when they're turned left or right, you might run into some clearance issues with your turn signal and the windshield. So I liked that I didn't have to relocate my turn signals. I didn't have to relocate my turn signals, and then I didn't have to get rid of the hand guards, because the hand guards, they do have that cutout for the turn signals, and I didn't want, of course, to have that gap or that opening without the turn signal. So all of that, of course, played a factor on the reason why I went with Dominator. It's just, yes, the cutout of the windshield, and then the carbon fiber mixed with the fiberglass. So now that we've discussed that, of course, you also have some other options. I'm gonna focus on eBay, because it's the cheaper option compared to what I went with as far as the fairing and the lowers. As far as eBay China options for a lowrider S or a softail lowrider S, there isn't many options. A lot of the options that you can get from eBay or Amazon, those are basically just Dyna models, and that's not even all of them. Most of them are the Dynas, except for the Wide Glide and the Fat Bob. So for those two bikes, I don't want to get into the specifics of Fitment, but the China options for the FXRT fairing for the Dynas are specifically for most of them, except for the Wide Glide and the Fat Bob. So I'm just gonna say that. And like I mentioned, the Dyna bracket is different from the Milwaukee 8 Softail. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to buy the China one for about $800 or $900, and then still have to buy the bracket, I'm still going to be around $1,500. So I just figured, you know what, I might as well get the get the bracket that I want and the fairing that I want, and then spend a little bit more, get the lowers, and it's gonna be about the same because, like I said, there isn't options as far as Softail Milwaukee 8 from China. All right, enough rambling. Let's get into some of the benefits, some of the stuff besides the fact of getting a better quality fairing and getting a better quality bracket, stuff that I kind of came to realize after I received my fairing. On the pluses, the pros are the way the bracket sits, the fairing sits. Like I mentioned in some of my other videos, people were having complaints about how the fairing was fitting. As far as the Dominator bracket, it fit as far as the way it sits, not exactly how it mounts, but the way it sits on the bike, it looks great. It's not too high, not too low. It's not too far away from the bike itself, because sometimes these fairings tend to overhang a little bit. They're a little bit extended. Some of the fairings sit a little bit too far away from the fuel tank. This one's really tight. It's really snug, and I was happy about the overall look of the fairing on the bike. It's pretty much perfect, except for, of course, that lower bracket. It's something that I've already mentioned in a number of videos, but like I said, Dominator did mention they're looking at updating that lower bracket. Hopefully that happens before anybody else buys the fairing. So another plus after buying the fairing was the shipment was super fast. Surprisingly, if it wasn't for UPS, I don't know what happened with the UPS. They mishandled something, or maybe they were short-staffed, something along those lines. But my fairing was stuck in customs for about 6 or 7 days. If it wasn't for that, I believe I would have gotten the fairing within about maybe 10 days. So, and like I mentioned, only because UPS had some type of issue in their customs. I believe they're somewhere located in Illinois. I can't remember. This happened in December or happened in November. Like I said, there was a delay. There was a delay, and it spent more time in customs in the United States than it did traveling. So that's just one of the benefits. I've heard some people waiting weeks and weeks and weeks. If you were to buy the carbon fiber one, if you guys seen the Writing Dad video, he did end up waiting about, I say, 4 to 6 months. But for the fiberglass and the one that I got from Dominator, I got that within, I'd say, maybe 14 to 20 days. I can't remember. I have everything noted down. But the shipping was super fast, super quick. Another benefit of, buying the fairing from Dominator was I didn't have to pay any taxes on this fairing, which is a huge benefit considering that I live in California and our sales tax is about 9.25%. So that would have cost me quite a bit of dough if I would have purchased this through another, maybe through RWD. I looked into the laws as far as taxes and imports and customs. As long as the manufacturer doesn't have a location in the United States, you don't pay taxes on it. So the Netherlands, I didn't have to pay any taxes. I believe if you buy it through Speed Kings, because Speed Kings, they do sell this fairing on their website, I believe you will have to pay taxes if you buy it from them. But if you buy it from Dominator in the Netherlands, you don't pay any taxes. But they do charge you, I believe, was $100 worth of shipping. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I did have to pay shipping. But I have purchased stuff through Speed Kings, and that's been something that I'm used to when you're buying it. Depending on the online store that you buy it from, most of them do charge you shipping fees, except for GetLowered Cycles and Revzilla. They don't, bill you on the shipping. But Speed Kings, like I said, I've purchased many things from them, and I've always had to pay shipping from Speed Kings. So those are, of course, additional benefits. The speed of shipping extremely fast. If it wasn't for UPS mishandling the international stuff, then I would have gotten the fairing fairly quickly, and not having to pay taxes is a huge bonus as well. That's two of the benefits of buying it from Dominator. And like I mentioned, As far as, you know, the video that my 30-minute video that I have on everything about the Dominator fairing, I believe I still would have gone with Dominator anyways, only because those reasons. All right, buying it from JD Customs, I believe you will have to pay taxes, and based off of some of the installs from the Facebook group, some people have mentioned having the fairing kind of move on them a little bit, but like I said, I don't have any hands-on experience on that stuff, so I don't know if that's the case. But hopefully that kind of answers additional questions. As far as the cons, you guys would have to see the 28-minute video. I know it's a long video, but I go through quite a bit of quite a bit of stuff on that video. I kind of touch base on everything, but I think what I forgot to mention in that video was most of those complaints come from a prep perspective, someone that has the prep, the paint, everything, most of that stuff. But as far as, experience, as maybe if someone like yourself out there were to buy the fairing and you're not doing the prep and you're just dropping it off, I believe overall, it's a good purchase, like I said. And, if you're trying to save a couple bucks, I don't think you should, but if you wanted to save a couple dollars, you can. You'll save about maybe, $200, but in reality, like I mentioned, not having to pay the taxes on that stuff saved me quite a bit of money. But if you were to buy it from Amazon or eBay, I believe you might have to pay taxes on that stuff, and then that adds on to the cost. And then on top of that, like I said, you would have to still buy the bracket. And RWD, they do sell the bracket, but I believe it's about $500 to $600. And then on top of that, you would have to pay taxes on that. So in the end, I believe it's worth considering buying it from Dominator, only because of, the bracket itself. It's really top quality. This is probably something that I didn't touch up on, but the bracket is high quality. As far as the way the bracket mounts, it's high quality. It's very sturdy. Like I mentioned, there's 2 solid mounting points on the frame, and having to, worry about it moving or jiggling or rattling or anything like that, you don't have to worry about that. So anyways, life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.